All right, good afternoon, Ms. Williams.
Hello.
Hey, so let's go ahead and just get started with your interview, okay?
Okay.
So the first question that I have for you, on a scale of 1 through 10, with 1 being the worst lesson you've taught and 10 being the best, how would you rank your lesson in terms of your lesson was about communication and active listening? So how would you rank that?
I will rank that one a 7.
Okay, 7. And why would you rank it a 7?
I see that there are ways that I can improve it. Um,
Okay.
it's one of the kids seem to be interested in it, but I see it as one that I can improve, and I just want to do other things with it.
All right. So the next question, what pleases you about the lesson in particular?
The engagement of the kids,
Okay.
and I like the objectives and the message that, showing the importance of communication because it leads me into um, different standards and different life skills that I can work with the children on.
Right. And I really think, with everything going on right now, communication is very
Yeah.
important for, for
And
them
I was
to.
really able to hone in on that so the kids could, relate it like, yeah, look at what we're going through now and doing. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. I did see the connection with that
Yes.
when I observed your class. So, what would have to change for you to move that lesson from a 7 to a 10?
I would say more integration of being able to differentiate it.
Okay.
Um, I really need to work on that more so
Okay.
that
So,
all of them can grasp it.
right. So, more differentiation
Yes,
in the
activities and things
class.
like that for them to do
Right.
because I
Okay.
present, but I really
Right.
want to be able to see, okay, are they getting what I'm talking about?
Right, absolutely. And in terms of like differentiation, because like you were saying, students are on different levels. So some
Yes,
students were like finished like
and some were
quickly.
not. Yes,
And some not. So I can definitely see differentiation would definitely improve that lesson
yes, it
in
would
communication.
because I have 9th through 12th in that class. So
Right, right,
levels of
absolutely.
understanding are everywhere.
You're right. Okay, so the next question, tell me more about what that would look like, the differentiation. What type of activities would you have for your intro to business class, for the lesson on communication and active listening?
So being that there are two concepts, there are being one major one, and then the active listening is a sub up under the communication. So if I could, I would love to have like some activities that it could do, almost like a choice board or something maybe,
Oh, okay. A
to make
choice.
sure that I understand exactly what is the difference between an active listener and a passive listener. So just some comparisons, things like that.
Okay.
Um, but maybe a couple of choices. So that way I know that if, I give this particular tiered student an activity, it's where they can understand it. However, same lesson, I want to be able to give it to the next tier, you know, maybe a
Okay.
different activity, same concepts though.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Something like that.
That sounds good, actually. A choice
Yeah.
board. Yeah, because like you said, your class, they're all different grade levels. So
Yeah.
you can't really just teach it based off of,
Right. So I've
one
got
level.
to find ways to break this down where I'm getting everybody. That's
Right.
a challenge.
Yeah, I do. I like that. Okay, so how could we measure that change? How could you measure?
Um, Obviously, I would be doing my questioning. So I could do some high level questioning just to kind of get a gauge on understanding and push. deeper with some more critical thinking questions to really see, okay, are they really connecting the dots with it? Another way I could maybe like a quiz. So are they even understanding the terms? And then another way I could assess is like short sentences. So I
Okay.
guess what, like a fill in the blank or something like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm just writing this down, so don't
Okay.
mind me. Okay. All right. And so, do you want that to be your goal? Like, what is your goal for your second period class for the semester?
For my second period class specifically, it would be to challenge them a little bit more um, by, yes, you are learning these different concepts and terms and things, but also because we are business and technology, but
Mhm.
also moving them maybe a notch up beyond just, a Word document or something like that. So you're showing me your understanding of the concepts, but now I want to push it up a little more on your technology end as well.
All right, so you want to integrate more technology
Yes,
into your classroom
into my classroom.
and
Yes,
teach them like more 21st century skills that they would need
yes,
because they're 11 and 12th graders.
correct. Yes.
Right. Okay. I got you. That makes sense. Okay. Integrate 21st century skills.
Mhm.
All right. And if you could hit that goal of integrating technology, more technology in your class, as well as challenging your students, would that matter to you?
Oh, yes, definitely, because then I would definitely know that I'm able to differentiate with them. I have some different strategies that I can use, and it'd be like in my little treasure chest. So,
All
you know,
right.
I'll
Okay.
pull what I need, and I also can bridge that into my other classes.
Right. Absolutely. Because you can use it
Correct,
next
because remember, I'm,
semester.
I'm 9 through 12, so my levels vary.
Right. Okay. Sounds good to me. Okay. So the next question is, what teaching strategy could you use to hit your goal of integrating technology and challenging your students in the classroom?
Okay. Um, Well, two that I really would like to be able to integrate, one being Nearpod.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of things about that, but I've never had the chance to really, I've kind of played with it a little bit, but it's really general what you can do. Um,
Right.
so I would like to integrate Nearpod into my classes because
Oh,
I do present a lot.
right.
Um, and then um, be able to push in, the different activities or things that I want to do to gauge the learning, but also just make it interesting for them, not just, okay, we're finna watch Miss Willis give us a presentation and then.
Right.
So something like that. And a lot of times I try and use my chat because I'm virtual. So I
Right.
try and use my chat and do that. But it would be nice if I had something that I could just go back to and, be able to really interact with them that way, more of a controlled learning sequence.
Right.
Because
Right.
right now I have to find stuff, I put it in my chat, then I tell them, tell me how you feel. Let's talk about this. So it's more of that. But that's kind of like just me just pulling things, you know, as I go.
Right, right. And then the last question that I have for you, and then I'll just talk a little bit about what I've observed in your class and
Okay.
things like that. We'll talk about the video, your
Okay.
lesson.
Yes.
The last question is what are your next steps
Meaning,
in terms of what are you going to do to reach the goal? You talked about the strategy,
yes.
so how are you going to use that strategy so
Okay.
that you can reach your
Reach my
goal?
goal. Okay.
Hmm.
So if I'm able to integrate Nearpod
Mm-hmm.
into my second period, I would pick a lesson and
Okay.
work on creating a Nearpod with activities in it, um, to gauge that level of learning, but also to get them engaged.
Right. Okay. All right. So more engagement. Use a lesson that you have for later on this semester, and then try to implement Nearpod into it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That sounds great to me. So I did come into your classroom, your virtual classroom,
Hmm.
last week, I believe last Friday, and what I saw, which is a good thing considering that we're virtual and things like that, you had student engagement. It was there. The students are interacting with you,
Great.
through the chat box.
Yes.
They'll turn off their microphone and they'll speak with you. So the rapport is there, the respect is there, which
Yes.
is, like I said, that's a great thing considering the circumstances that so many
Period.
teachers are in.
Right.
But I think in terms of, let me see how to put it. Given the circumstances that we're in, what I saw was the technological issues. And I know that you were talking about in terms of, you want to implement more technology into your classroom, but it was like, certain technological difficulties, which you don't have any control over. None of us do, it's just that's what we have, and we can just do so much as teachers. For example, I think you had a student, I believe her name is Rukaya in your
Rakaya. Uh-huh.
class, and she was like, Miss Willis, I can't see your
Right.
presentation.
Yeah, she couldn't see. She said her screen was green. And so I had to stop to see, is it just Rukaya or was it multiple? And then it was just her. So she had to come out and come back in.
Right. And so when she said that, I was like, okay, I've had that issue before, because earlier that week I had a meeting in Teams and I could hear the presenter, but I could not see their presentation. And so I'm like, what is going on? I logged out, logged back in. I still couldn't see it. And so I had to log in through my phone to see the presentation.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that's really like the hiccup is, if that's the video conferencing tool they want us to use, but if it's not effective in the classroom,
Right.
then it's like, well, what can we do?
Yeah.
What can teachers do in that situation? So for you to say Nearpod, I really think that will be the solution to
Yeah,
the
that will
issue.
help me a lot
Right,
because
because
at least then it's something that I can self-pace them, but also, I can monitor the pacing to make sure, okay, are we still up to speed and staying engaged too?
right. And then with Nearpod, is student paced. You have different options. So you
Hmm.
can do live participation. You can put the link in the chat box so every student will see the screen.
Okay.
I know in terms of like the Chromebooks, we have issues with YouTube. With,
Right.
with Nearpod, they can see the videos.
And that's an issue for me.
Right, exactly. So I really think using Nearpod as your strategy to help you reach that goal, I really think that will like bring your class to like
I'm
a peak.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Because I want to try something, and my second period will be a good model for me to see, okay, is this really good and working for them, and I can move it on into my other class.
right. And because you have the student engagement already, it's
Mhm.
there. I
Okay,
think Nearpod will really like, it'll step it up even further.
exactly. Yes,
That's what I
that's what I want.
really think that will It will help
Okay.
your class. So, I know it's going to get a little crazy in a couple of weeks because, they telling us students coming back and
Yeah, it's gonna get crazy.
it's going to get a little crazy, but I can definitely assist you with Nearpod. I
Okay.
love
Well, I would
Nearpod.
appreciate your help.
Yes, I
I'm
love
excited.
Nearpod. It is a lifesaver. It's a game changer with the
Okay.
presentations because I get
Yeah.
it. You have to present. Yeah,
And
it
I have to present before I even, get into it. I have to set the stage first, and my presentations are what I use.
right. I definitely understand that with social studies. I mean, it's just some topics or some subjects, I should say, you have to present. You just have to. So yeah. So I'm definitely going to help you with Nearpod this semester. So thank you so much for the interview.